particular, it was easy to compare Watertown to Waltham because Watertown has less of a population, less number of households, and it has more sales than Waltham does overall. So that's kind of something they can at least tell compared to other towns how well they're doing. So what do we come up with? What do consumers say? What do they want in the street? Well, the three things you want to take away are clothing, entertainment, and coffee. I mean, the retailer is also on there, but it's not as specific. But clothing, not a Macy's, not a strip mall, but a boutique. They liked it when it was specialized. They loved the unique, interesting feel of Moody Street. Entertainment, going down there countless times, you're walking up down the street, but you'd like to have some music performers, or go into a bar and listen to some live music. Including coffee. You could not grab a coffee in Moody Street and walk up and down. People like to go browse in between the shops, but they have an ordinance about that right now that you can't have takeaway coffee shops. We have a wonderful tea shop, which I encourage you all to go on Moody Street to. But that's where you sit down with a nice chinaware and have your cup of tea. But you still can't even take the tea out. So, you figure out what the consumers want. Now, how do you brand this? What is Moody Street? What is the perception around it? Those are our wonderful team members walking in now. About time. No. Well, moving right along. So overview, what was Moody Street like? Now it's hard for you guys to see, but there are a ton of people. You can tell there's just a ton of people here. 1950s, Moody Street, Easter Parade. 200,000 people came to this street every year. It was the destination, according to the historian of the Waltham Museum, that people came to outside of Boston. In fact, I don't even know who this is, but Captain Kangaroo, for those who don't know, used to come on one of these cars and ride around during these parades. It was an incredible time, and this is what we wanted the city councilors to see. A lot of times he said, no parades on Moody Street, no parades, it's too tough, too tough. Well, it's like, hey, you had 200,000 people at one time. It's possible. We're not saying that you have to do it, but just keep that thought in mind. So the current brand, what people were telling us from our sample set, it's diverse, eclectic, interesting, lively. The restaurants and bars, there are 25%, so a quarter of the businesses are restaurants and bars. But people were 6 times more likely to mention restaurants and bars than any other business on the street. What that just shows is there's just an immense amount of perception about the restaurants and bars on Moody Street. That's perception. Now we're not saying that's good or bad. We're saying embrace that and use that. If you want to change your perception, at least you know what people are thinking right now. Negative perceptions. It's dirty, run down. It's unsafe for families to come up and down the street. As you can see from this, I just had 2 pictures. One is a trash can that's full, and so much that someone has left the trash on top of the trash can, as well as there were a ton of light poles that had weeds growing out with some trash in between it. That's something we wanted to really present and show the city what was there right now. So what can we do? What can Moody Street be? People always said, you know, we want to get to Moody Street, but once you get there, it's really eclectic. They said that there was a positive perception when it should be, but once you get there, you should know what's on the street. I showed you a picture before that had all these trees in front of all the businesses. It's very difficult to know what's up and down the street. You'll never go up and down if you didn't know that there was a toy shop or if there was a coffee shop down at the end. But this here, these 3 of the photos on this side are all of Davis Square. Now, we wanted to present the fact that each of these stores can keep its uniqueness in its signage, but it's uniform. People know when I walk there, above every door, there's the same shape sign that I know right away what are all those stores. And right now, to have a sign jetting out like that is not possible in line with the ordinances of Waltham right now. But also, Davis Square. I was so confused coming up here as someone from Connecticut trying to find this place, you know, driving all over, that this hit me right in the face when I got there. It's a destination. You've made it. You made it to Moody Street. You made it to Davis Square. And now you can finally relax and park your car. But even once you get out, this is the first thing we saw, a shopping mall directory. Very easy. Now I know what's here. If I want to go somewhere, I can. I'll know next time I come back, I can go there. Very simple things that Moody Street was not doing at all. None of the businesses were doing, including just small advertisements. Newton Center, it's be in the center of it all. They have 4 different types of businesses, but they advertised together, collaborated, worked off one another. One thing I really liked was Belmont. They did the same sort of advertisement, and it says, come for what you need, stay for what you want. Belmont Center. That's great. Great ring to it, you know? Something small and catchy that people can jump onto. And what are some future activities? Well, this idea of creative economies, having entertainment there, packaging deals, working together. If you have an art gallery at the top of the street, people are more apt, and they have studies that we actually use from the economic department, state of Massachusetts, that said when you have something that's art-based, people are more willing to walk around and browse, have an ice cream. One of the things they talked about was going to the art gallery and then having 20% off of any meal in the surrounding restaurant area. Great way to work together and build your business. These are things that were, at least at the time, foreign to a lot of our business owners and kind of love these results that we presented to them. And the last thing, this gorgeous Charles River. People will kill for this in other towns. And they have it right there. The place that we were looking at starts here and comes all the way up. So right on that edge, we have this beautiful river that they have not utilized. This is something they can use later on in the future. So how do you use the branding and the marketing? What do you do with it? Well, once you start implementing these ideas, you've got to worry about your infrastructure and you've got to worry about your regulations, which Ellen's going to talk to you about right now.
Thank you, Owen. As I said, I'm going to be talking to you about infrastructure and regulations. Basically, we had all these great ideas, but were any of them feasible? Can we go to the city and say, hey, we have this great idea, and they'll say, did you read this regulation? That's not allowed. So first I'll talk to you about the infrastructure. We had 2 people in our infrastructure group, and they looked at the traffic in the area, parking, lighting, safety, anything that had to do with that sort of thing. And they talked to the planning department, they talked to the city council, and they also used both our business surveys and our consumer surveys to find out what people were thinking about the infrastructure in the area. Is it safe for me? Is the lighting okay? Do I feel safe walking to my car? Can I find my car? Is it parked near here? So we found that a lot of people had different perceptions and interpretations of the infrastructure in the area. For instance, a consumer at night might be worried that the lighting's not so great and I don't feel safe, whereas the business owners are more concerned with the sidewalk. You know, during the day, people are walking by my store and they're tripping. I'm not okay with that. So there are people that had really different needs with infrastructure.
That Moody Street is wonderful. People appreciate it. Where is it on the map?